Hey everyone, I want to move forward and split this data into two separate sets. Okay, so the first data set is going to have two columns. The input set, which is going to be a training set, and output set, which is going to be a prediction. So our input set is going to be age and gender. So this is our input set. This is going to be the x variable, and we said x variable is independent factor, which is going to influence our output, and our output is going to be this column here. The column junior is going to be our output. Okay, so our output is our y variable. So we're gonna see the age and gender is going to affect the kind of music they are watching. Yeah, the age and gender will affect the kind of music they're watching. So when we train our model, we are going to give two separate data sets. We should give our model the input data and give our model the output data. Now so the output data set, which in this case is the junior column, does contain what we call a prediction. So we are going to tell our model if we have a user who is 20 years old and the user is male, then they are most likely to be listening to hip hop. So that is the assumption that they're giving. So once we train a model, we give new input set. For example, we say A to a model, we have a new user who is 21 and the user is male. When I look into my data set, I don't have the age 21 male, so I don't have the age 21 male, but we can ask our model that we have a 21-year male, and we ask what kind of music this person would be listening to. As we see from our sample here, our sample data set, we don't have 21-year model or 21-year-old male. So that's why we are going to ask our model to predict for us, and that's why we are splitting our data set into input and output. Okay, now if I want to split this data set, first of all, this is what I'm gonna do. I'll use the .drop method. So maybe this one I can assign a variable music underscore data. So in order to split this data set, I need into x and y. I'll use the drop dot drop method. I'll say music dot drop. So here I'm going to drop the column, the columns equal sign. So I'm going to drop the output column, which is the junior. Then I close the bracket. Okay. Then I can go ahead and assign a variable x. So I'll assign variable x capital, then I run it. Okay. So when I run it, I can now see the output. There's an error there. So this one is so I'm going to use music drop. So there's something missing. Music underscore data. Drop. Then I run it. Wait a minute. So the drop. So equal sign. So this one is a square bracket. Closing bracket is missing. I just play the closing bracket and run. So I now have the x variables. Okay, so I'll have all the columns excluding the junior column. Okay, so this one I'll assign variable x. So let's see if that is the case. So this one you have the age and gender is our output. So when I call on variable x, I now have the result of the output. So I have my x variable as age and gender. So I've dropped the junior column because that's going to be our prediction. Then we have our input set, which include the two columns, which is the age and gender. And for prediction, we use the lowercase. So for our prediction here, we have the music underscore data. So this for prediction. So it's a square bracket. junior, closed music. So I want to generate the output or the prediction. So the y variable music underscore data and close that one. So the y equals to music so when I call on our y variable, then I run it, it now gives so when I call our y variable, I have the prediction which has different kind of genre or the music they are listening to. Okay, as you have seen the data, as you have seen the data here, as the prediction, or rather the answers. So you can call it the prediction or the answers that were expected for that case. So I can delete that one for now. So up to this point we have prepared our data. Next we are going to create a model using an algorithm. So that's the next task we're going to do. So today now I'm going to use a simple algorithm called decision tree algorithm. Now the good news is we don't need to code an algorithm because they are implemented for us in the library. So the library we're going to use is the sklearn. So the sklearn, so I will go back to the top and bring in the library. From the sklearn.tree import, so this is the library I'm talking about. So from the sklearn.tree import DecisionTreeClassifier. Okay. From the sklearn library tree, I want to import the DecisionTreeClassifier. So I've already done that. So this will be called the DecisionTreeClassifier. I've already imported that successfully. Now, the sklearn is a package that comes with sklearn library, which is mostly, or which is popular machine library in Python. So in this sklearn package, we do have a module called tree. Now for this algorithm, we are going to use we are going to give variable name model. So this decision tree. So I want to type decision tree. So let me run it first. So decision tree classifier. So I'll first need to run this one before another one. Then I run. So this is the sklearn tree classes decision tree classifier. So I want to give this library a name or a variable. So I call it a model. So I can just type it here. So this is a model. Okay. So now if I run it, it means we have actually trained an algorithm with XY variable. So before that, so after calling the variable name model, just I called the variable name model, it gives a library. So the library name pops out. Okay. So whenever I called a model, it gives a decision tree classifier algorithm. Now we do have a model, but we need to train this model so that it learns our data pattern. So for us to train it, we need to use .fit method. So I'll say model.fit xy, and I close the bracket. Okay. Now xy variables are all data we had seen earlier on. So now if I run it, okay, it gives an error, missing one comment y. So model.fit. The model there's an error somewhere. Okay, there's something missing, so let me just rectify that small error. Okay, good. So the next thing here, let me just so this one equal to model. Good. So this is what I was trying to correct. Now if I run it, it means that we have actually trained our algorithm with XY variables. And what we need to do is to ask the model to make for us a prediction. So after training, can ask it to predict. For example, what kind of music does 21 year like? Okay. So we all know that from this data, a 21-year-old loves the hip hop. Okay. So from the sample data, let me just go back to the sample data, music data. So I run it. Okay, music. So you know that a 21-year-old male loves the hip hop music from the sample. So let's see how our model will predict. So I want to check by using the model to predict. One, yes, male. I run it. Perfect. So it gives the hip hop. That was the answer that I was expecting. So the model now has been trained successfully. It can now predict or give the accurate results. So this one I can give a variable name prediction. So whenever I call on prediction, then I run it, and I call on prediction and I run it, it gives the result not defined. So then we call on my variable. Yeah, good. So that's how our model is trained to give accurate results. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.